Good morning. Welcome again to Moto Meditation, stuff I think about while I'm riding. This morning I'm riding through the Texas Hill Country, and I'm thinking about some of the character traits that we teach here at Hallmark University. And one of those character traits is communication. And I think it's appropriate that we talk about communication as a character trait because that's the way we reveal our character, or the way we communicate. And that's the way people form opinions about us, what kind of person we are, by the way we communicate. And a couple of weeks ago, I had a student who had a complaint. He was very upset because he received a low grade on a paper because it was not written in APA format. And he was very adamant about he didn't see the necessity why he had to put a paper in APA format. And here was his rationale. He said, the only reason that I'm working on my degree is because I just want to set a good example for my family, and I want my children to see their father graduating from college. He said, I don't think I need this degree for any other reason. I don't care about being an A student. As a matter of fact, if I just pass, I'm fine. So why do I have to learn how to write something in an APA format when I'm probably never going to have to do this again for the rest of my life? Well, I'm going to go back to a previous video that I did about agility. And agility is the ability to recognize your emotions and your feelings at the moment and to be able to shift into an above-the-line mode of thinking, to shift into being curious, to being open to learning. So I thought about that question because my first reaction was annoyance, because the answer was pretty obvious to me. And so the temptation was to say, well, the reason you have to do it is because it's required, and if you want to pass this course, just write your papers in APA format, because if you don't do it, you're going to fail. Well, I think that's an inadequate answer, because I have to respect his point of view, and the more I think about it, the more I realize that he really had a valid question. So why should he write his papers in APA format? Well, first of all, it's about presentation. And life is all about presentation. The way we present ourselves to others determines so much. So the APA format gives you a package to present your ideas in a professional, acceptable way that shows respect for your readers, that makes it easier for them to read, and it adheres to generally accepted standards. Because if we let a student go out of Hallmark without knowing how to do this, it's really not fair to them, because if we write a sloppy email, it's a display of our character. Other people form opinions about us. If we write a letter that's poorly worded, it's not broken up into the right paragraphs, if it's difficult to read, then our reader won't stay with it more than the first sentence. So yes, it's important to adhere to those standards of professionalism. And also it's about critical thinking. If you want to learn how to think, then learn how to write. Because nothing reveals the inadequacy of our thinking faster than sitting down and trying to write it down on a piece of paper and to formulate it into a well-reasoned argument. The APA format also requires us to document our opinions and to back it up with evidence by attributing our sources. If we just copy and paste other people's ideas, we're not learning anything, and if, in one sense we're being a fraud. So writing helps us to think. It helps us to find our own voice and express our own opinions. And it helps us to package our ideas in an acceptable way so that other people will receive them and even listen to them. Like you, I get up in the morning and I get dressed and I look at myself in the mirror. And one of the reasons I look at myself in the mirror is I want to make sure that I'm presenting myself to the world in the best possible way. Now, you know, I have to admit that there's always a momentary disappointment and a feeling that I've been shortchanged. Why don't I look like Brad Pitt or something like that. Well, the fact is I don't, and that's what I have. And so I try to make the best out of what I have to make sure that I'm clean and well-groomed and I've got the appropriate clothes on so that I present myself to the world in the best way that I'm capable of, because most of us would not go to work in the morning with ripped jeans and a dirty t-shirt. We wouldn't go to a friend's wedding with cutoffs and flip-flops. So why would we want to write a research paper that's not dressed up in the appropriate format? So those are my thoughts on why we should learn to write a paper in the APA format, and why we should learn to write, and why we should even be concerned about the way we present ourselves to the world. So I hope you think about this the next time you have to write a paper. And I hope this has been helpful to you. And until the next time, thank you for listening.